What if the reason he's pulling away isn't because you're doing too little, but because you're doing too much in the wrong way? Today, I'm going to show you 4 simple feminine shifts that completely change how a man feels about you, how he opens up, how he connects, and why he suddenly starts paying more attention than before. Welcome back to Decode His Mind, where we break down the hidden psychology of men and reveal what actually creates attraction, emotional connection, and lasting relationships. In today's video, we're diving into 4 simple feminine shifts that can completely change how a man responds to you, how he opens up, how he connects, and why he starts valuing your presence on a much deeper level. There are 4 simple things a woman can do that can make a man completely melt in front of her. And chances are, you're not doing any of them. In fact, you might even be doing the opposite right now, which could explain why he isn't opening up, why he isn't chasing you, and why that emotional connection feels missing. And here's the surprising part. These 4 things are so simple and so natural that when you hear them, you might think it can't be real. You might assume something this easy couldn't possibly have that kind of effect, but that's exactly why they work. Most women overlook them completely. Before we go further, if this resonates with you, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more insights that help you understand men on a deeper level and build stronger relationships. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Also, be honest. Do you believe small actions can really change how a man feels about you? Or do you think it takes something much bigger? The biggest misunderstanding women have about men is thinking that more love, more attention, and more availability automatically creates closeness. So when a woman likes a man, she usually tries harder, she texts more, she checks on him, she compliments him, she makes herself available all the time. She believes that if she shows enough care, he will respond with the same energy. But what actually happens inside him is very different. Instead of feeling closer, he can feel pressure. His mind starts to register it as expectation, as emotional weight, as something he has to respond to. And when a man feels that pressure, his natural response is to pull back, become quiet, and create distance. Then the woman is left confused, thinking she did everything right. She was kind, she was present, she gave effort. So why is he becoming distant? This isn't her fault. Most women are never taught how men actually process emotional energy. Society often tells women that men want constant affection and availability, but that isn't what creates deep attachment. Men and women connect differently. Many women connect through talking, sharing, and emotional expression. Men often respond to something more subtle, more instinctive. Certain signals from a woman can reach a deeper part of his mind. Something that doesn't come from words, but from energy, behavior, and presence. When a man feels that something is different about a woman, something calm, grounded, and emotionally strong, it creates curiosity. He starts to think about her more. He becomes more engaged. He opens up without even fully understanding why. That's what these 4 gestures are about. The first one is what I call the unbothered pause. This is one of the simplest but hardest shifts to make because it goes against instinct. Instead of reacting instantly to everything he says or does, you pause for a moment before responding. Not silence to play games, just a small pause. 2 or 3 seconds, a breath, a moment where you don't rush to fill space. Most people are used to instant reactions. So when you don't respond immediately, it creates awareness in him. He starts to notice your presence differently. He may wonder what you're thinking or why you didn't react the way others do. That small space changes the dynamic. It shows emotional control. It shows that you are not rushed, not dependent on instant validation, not emotionally reactive. And that creates a shift in how he perceives you. Instead of assuming he already has your full attention, he starts to feel like he has to stay more present with you. The second gesture is the soft boundary. This is where many women struggle because they fear that setting limits will push a man away. So they stay quiet about things that bother them. They tolerate behavior they don't like just to keep peace. But without boundaries, there is no respect. And without respect, emotional connection weakens over time. A soft boundary is not aggression. It's calm clarity. It sounds like simply expressing what you don't like without anger or over-explaining. You say it once, clearly, and you stop. For example, I don't like when that happens. Please don't do that again. And then you let it be. At first, he may test it. That's normal. He's seeing if your words match your standards. If you stay consistent without emotional overreaction, he starts to understand that you mean what you say. This is where his perception of you changes. You are no longer just someone trying to keep him happy. You become someone who respects herself. And that naturally increases his respect for you too. And respect is what leads to deeper emotional investment. The third gesture is unexpected softness. This is what balances everything out. After showing calmness and boundaries, you don't stay cold or distant. Instead, you show warmth, but in a grounded and genuine way. Not the kind of softness that comes from trying to please him or win him over, but the kind that comes from emotional stability. For example, if he seems stressed or quiet, instead of overreacting or asking too many questions, you simply acknowledge him gently. A light touch on his arm. A calm, I can tell it's been a long day. I'm here. No pressure, no interrogation, just presence. Or if he shares something personal, you don't rush to fix it or turn it into a big emotional moment. You simply say something like, "Thank you for telling me that." That simplicity is powerful because it shows him you can be strong and grounded, but also warm and safe. That combination is rare and it creates emotional comfort. He doesn't feel judged or managed. He feels accepted. And when a man feels both respect and emotional safety in the same woman, he opens up much more deeply. The fourth gesture is the pleased silence. This one is often misunderstood because most people think silence is awkward, so they fill every gap with talking, questions, or nervous energy. But when you constantly fill silence, it can create pressure. It makes him feel like he has to keep things going, entertain, or perform in some way. The pleased silence is different. It's when you allow quiet moments to exist without fear. You're sitting with him, maybe watching something or just spending time together, and there's no rush to talk. Instead of feeling uncomfortable, you stay relaxed. You look calm. Maybe you smile slightly. You simply exist in the moment without needing to fix it. That calm presence tells him something powerful. It tells him you are not anxious, not needy for constant stimulation, not dependent on him to fill every gap. And that makes being around you feel peaceful instead of stressful. He starts to associate you with emotional ease, with calm, with something he doesn't have to work hard to maintain every second. And that's where attachment begins to grow naturally. When you're comfortable sitting in silence with him, when you don't feel the need to fill every moment with words, attention, or constant interaction, it sends a very deep signal to his subconscious mind. It tells him you are safe, grounded, and emotionally secure. It shows him you're not needy, not anxious, and not constantly looking for validation. And because of that, something inside him relaxes. Most men don't experience that kind of calm around most women. In many interactions, it can feel like they are being observed, evaluated, or expected to perform in some way. Like they always have to say the right thing, keep the conversation going, or maintain a certain image. But with you, it feels different. With you, he feels like he can just be. He can sit in silence without pressure. He can think without being interrupted. He can exist without having to constantly prove anything. And that feeling is rare. It's unfamiliar. And because it's so rare, it becomes incredibly valuable to him. The pleased silence communicates something powerful. It shows him you are confident enough in yourself and in the connection that you don't need constant reassurance. You're not asking him to perform or prove his interest every moment. You're simply present and you're genuinely okay in that presence. Your happiness doesn't depend on him entertaining you or constantly engaging you. It's steady. It just exists. And when a man experiences that kind of emotional environment, where there is no pressure, no judgment, and no demand for constant output, his guard naturally starts to drop. He becomes more at ease, more open, more emotionally available without even realizing why. That's when his walls begin to fall. Now, what makes these 4 gestures so powerful is how they work together on a psychological level. When you use the unbothered pause, you create a sense of space and unpredictability in his responses. His brain starts paying closer attention because he can't fully predict your reactions. This activates a natural psychological pattern where people value things more when they are not instantly or constantly available. When you apply soft boundaries, you introduce structure and self-respect into the dynamic. Instead of just going along with everything, you show him that you have standards. And that naturally activates his internal drive to step up, to meet those standards, to engage more seriously rather than casually. When you show unexpected softness after being grounded and firm, you introduce emotional contrast. He sees that you are not one-dimensional. You are not just strict or just overly giving. You are both strong and warm. That emotional depth makes you more memorable and harder to forget, because the mind is naturally drawn to complexity, and when you offer pleased silence, you regulate the emotional atmosphere around him. His body begins to relax, his stress levels lower, he starts associating your presence with peace instead of pressure, and that physical sense of calm becomes emotionally addictive in a subtle way. These are not tricks. They are not manipulation tactics. They are natural human responses to emotional safety, balance, and presence. When used authentically, they reflect self-respect, emotional control, and maturity. But the most important question is how you recognize when it's actually working, because his behavior will change before his words ever do. You'll notice he starts reaching out more on his own. He texts first. He makes plans. He initiates contact instead of you always being the one trying to keep things alive. His effort increases because he starts valuing your presence more. You may also notice a shift in how he speaks to you. His tone becomes softer, more natural, less guarded. And finally, he begins to express feelings in simple, honest ways. Things like missing you, thinking about you, or enjoying your presence start coming out naturally without overthinking or hesitation. But none of this works if it's performed as a strategy. If you approach this like a technique to control or manipulate someone, it loses its power immediately. Men can sense when something feels unnatural or calculated, even if they can't explain why. The real foundation of all of this is self-respect. The unbothered pause only works when you are genuinely okay without immediate validation. Not pretending to be calm while internally panicking, but actually having a life, identity, and emotional stability outside of him. The soft boundaries only work when they reflect your real needs, not artificial rules you create to trigger reactions. They have to come from honesty, not strategy. The unexpected softness only works when it is real, when you genuinely feel warmth, care, or empathy in the moment, not when you force it to create an effect. And the pleased silence only works when you are actually comfortable with yourself, when silence doesn't feel like emptiness, but like peace. Because in the end, these gestures are not really about changing him. They are about changing the way you show up. They reflect a woman who is no longer chasing approval, no longer overextending, no longer trying to earn attention by overgiving. A woman who is grounded, self-aware, and emotionally balanced. And when a woman carries herself like that, everything around her shifts naturally. The men who are not aligned with that energy begin to fall away, and the ones who are aligned start showing up more clearly, more consistently, and more respectfully. And that's what changes everything. In the end, everything comes back to one simple truth. Real emotional connection with a man doesn't come from trying harder, giving more, or constantly chasing his attention. It comes from how you carry yourself. When you are calm instead of reactive, when you have gentle but clear boundaries, when your softness is genuine and not forced, and when you are comfortable in silence, you naturally create a space where a man feels safe, respected, and emotionally at ease. And in that kind of space, he doesn't feel pressured or controlled. He feels free to be himself. That freedom is what makes him open up, invest, and stay close. But the most important shift is not about him at all. It's about you becoming emotionally grounded, self-respecting, and secure within yourself. Because when you reach that place, you no longer chase connection. You attract it naturally. And at that point, everything in your relationship starts to change without force, without confusion, and without losing yourself in the process. If this video helped you understand things on a deeper level, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss what's coming next on Decode His Mind. And in the comments, drop the word aligned if this message resonated with you. I read every comment and it helps me know you're really connecting with the content.